Thank you, Kelly. Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's great to see all of you here. Unity Environmental is expanding its reach to create a more sustainable future. And to tell you more about it, I'm going to introduce Dr. Melik, Khoury, and Dr. Erika Latty. Come on up. Nice. Thank you guys for joining me up here today. Melik, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good. So Unity is more than an environmental university. They are a hub of innovation and the home of future environmental champions. Can you tell us a little bit more about Unity today and your vision for the future?
Sure. Unity today grew from a small private residential campus of about 500 students supporting primarily coming-of-age freshmen to an institution that is hitting about 10,000 students this year, looking forward to grow to about 50,000 students, really focused on the idea that education should be accessible to everyone. Our dream is to have a multifaceted institution that can deliver education anywhere in the world in real time using a tech stack that allows anyone, whether they want a micro-credential or a master's degree, to be able to get an environmental science education so that they can help change the world.
Thanks, Melik. Erika, so now that you're 10,000 students, how are you focusing on attaining the scalability of hitting 50,000 students by 2030?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think for us, we realized that we really had to create those scalable processes by leveraging technology. And the way that we did that then is we adopted Salesforce and Education Cloud, and we combined actually our CRM with our SIS, and we called it the information system. So at Unity, we have Stratus, our information system. And the purpose of this is really to provide opportunities for our students to have that seamless experience, but also start to increase our process efficiencies for some of the back-end processes for our staff. So we're looking to create self-service opportunities with the technology, and then also looking to enable our employees to spend more time with their students by taking those sort of those standard back-end processes, automate them, but still have our employees have the time to serve the students the way they need to be served. And so for us, it's really been about adopting new technologies, and that means being able to adapt to change, to really embrace innovation, and ultimately it's our mission that guides us as we create the scalable processes to enable us to provide really that accessible education that President Khoury was speaking about.
Erika, that's really interesting. You talked a little bit about the SIS, which I'm thinking everybody in the room is thinking traditional SIS, very big, hard to tame. Can you take a deeper dive on that one for us a little bit and tell us what you all did?
Yeah, sure. So we really were interested in, like I said, combining sort of our customer relationship management approach with our student record approach to create really one database that could then inform all of our constituencies at the university to enable our students to move through the life cycle seamlessly. And so once we started pulling in this information, we realized it was no longer just a student information system, but it was really the university information system. So we just stopped calling it an SIS and just started calling it the IS.
Erika, that's fantastic. So you have piles of data everywhere, and now you have found a way to better leverage those. Melik, that goes directly into your goal of creating a more sustainable future. How are you going to leverage AI and technology to do this?
Well, to quote your spokesperson, all right, all right, all right. Well, if you think about it, you know, Henry Ford once said, if you asked the people what they wanted, what did they want? They wanted faster horses. And that didn't happen. He gave them cars, and now we all drive them. So I said to myself, when talking to our team, how can the advent of agentic AI and the future of AI create a world where every faculty, every staff, every employee at our university has a deeper, more meaningful connection to our students because they've got a digital twin or they've got AI capabilities that would allow them to be empowered to create more value for the organization? Which is why when we started this journey back in 2012, I made a promise to my team. No employee at Unity, less than $50,000 a year. And of course, like anyone, people laughed. And we met that this year, the first institution in Maine, I think in New England, to make that promise and keep it. So today, with the advent of Agentforce, we said, what if every employee at Unity made a minimum of $100,000 with benefits by 2030 or before, by really allowing them to explore the construct of what if you used AI to make your position more valuable so that you can do what you do best and your passion. So with us, we've created this tech stack with an IS system, an LMS system, so that in the future, we don't have to look at handbooks. We don't have to think about where do we find that piece of information. Because at the end of the day, all you have to do is ask Una. And Una will help you, Una will guide you. So even though today, when we launched Una last week, with a very small micro section of the entire student life cycle from prospect to plan giving, where it will have a communication path with a student to say, hey, is Unity Environmental University the right one for me? Our vision for the next 10 years is that it will grow with our learners. It will go beyond Unity with our learners, from prospect to plan giving. Because at the end of the day, most of us are working around with a phone. In 10 years, we'll all be working around with Una.
So Melik, this is really interesting. I love that you shared the numbers up here with us. Thanks for doing that. You truly mean every employee at the university will hit those pay ranges?
If you work at Unity Environmental University by 2030 and you divide your salary, whether it's hourly or salaried, if you make less than $100,000, then we have failed. And that is with the promise that we have kept tuition flat for until 2030. So we're not going to do this in the backs of raising tuition or side fees, but we are going to use a technology stack to make sure that environmental science education is absolutely accessible, which is why we made that promise with the board, and that every employee now is going to work every day and saying, how can I enjoy playing with AI? How can it be okay to play with AI? And by creating this one data set that my colleague talked about to rule them all, where every piece of information that comes in is centralized, integrated, and completely crawlable and scannable, the hope is that my employees will live in a world in the future where all they have to say is, Una, can you help that students figure out what are the top 3 jobs that they're going to get after graduation? What is the average salary? And how can you make sure that their resume is in the top 1%? And that's my dream.
I love it. You're bringing a smile to my face. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Melik. Erika, Melik alluded to it, but what's the name of your agent, and why did you name the agent this? Well, I think we're probably all a little curious.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Agent Una is really related to our name as Unity. So both Unity and Una share a common Latin root for one or single. And so we also like the fact, not only that is it related to the university name, but it also then refers back to the comment that we've been making about that single pane of glass that, that our system serves for both our students and our employees.
So Erika, I have to imagine you didn't just wake up one day and start pumping information into this agent. What did you all do to get data ready?
Yeah, and that's another good question. We started, it was really a journey to get the data ready, and we started when we first started going into Salesforce and thinking about all our different data sets everywhere and how we really wanted to populate our new systems with clean data. And so that did mean that we had to do a data audit to start with, and then think really carefully about how much data we wanted to bring into a new system. And in doing that, we also had to decide, well, what are we going to say no to? What are we not going to bring into the new system? And so once we did our data audit, we also integrated some disparate systems. We moved our data, but then when we were preparing for the agent, we had to think about how we were going to organize that data so that the agent could access it. And so then we started leveraging the knowledge articles and started working through those processes with our employees, and then thinking about how those knowledge articles would inform really the brain of the agent.
Yeah, I love that, Erika. We've talked a lot, and we've talked about how in the commercial world, they would kill for the amount of data that education has access to. And I love the fact that you are all finding ways to leverage that. It's very impressive. Thank you. So, Melik, question for you. I'm sure everybody's curious. What's next for Unity, and what advice would you give everybody in the room who wants to go down the same type of journey?
Sure. I think, right now we are in the thick of it, right? We're trying to clean our data. Many universities, I'm sure you can all relate, your data is in pockets that is not scalable, it's dirty, you can't integrate it and the like. So while for the next 18 months, we'll be building agents and also cleaning our data and making sure it's all integrated. The real reason for that is that for the future, we really want to be wherever students are. And so I've got this comment that I always say, 25 years from now, when our successors are out there telling the Unity story, there's going to be a very, very simple thing to say. Wherever there are people, there will be unity. And we are going to do that by focusing on the idea that technology is a true access point for students everywhere. We want to be that institution, whether you're a government, whether you are a corporation, whether you are a community, wherever there is someone that needs learning, we want to have the tech stack, the governance, and the subject matter expertise to say, if it has to do with the environment, we are there with you. Because like I said, wherever there is people, my friend, there will always be unity.
I love that. 50,000 students by 2030. Can everybody please give them a round of applause for joining us up here on stage today? Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Are you good to get down the stairs? Okay. All right, that is not all from Unity, folks. They have a session at 4 o'clock today. You should all stop by and check that out. And I know they would be happy to speak to any one of you.